I feel like it's probably causing problems.
Yeah,
you can put it on if you want.
No, I don't.
Welcome back to the Baka Gaijin show, where we will not do webcams because they fuck everything up every time.
I'm surprised you didn't realize that beforehand.
I did, but I thought I was above the law.
You fought the law. The law won.
I fought the law, and I made a tactical retreat, ensuring the law's eventual downfall.
Whatever floats your homosexual tamales.
Can I ask for the...
Please.
Can I ask for the context?
It's from an old episode.
It's roboting.
Have I not gotten there yet? Probably not.
Oh my god, please don't do this again, Zeke. No.
Of roboting?
Yes. Check.
When I say mate.
I did not catch that.
When you say check,
Looking.
when he says check, you say mate.
Okay.
Check.
Mate.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
We're maybe good, possibly. The best kind of maybe good, possibly.
Yay.
I'm gonna close Steam. It's not doing anything for me.
Man, and I used to be the one with the connection issues.
I prefer to play on my PS3 plus one.
Plus one. 4
doesn't rhyme with Steam.
How do you
Neither
do
does
that?
one.
Doing that voice.
Anyway, welcome back to the Baka Gaijin show. Where were we? Some kind of fucking shit.
I don't even know anymore.
Funimation, Crunchyroll, split, and High Dive. That's what it was.
High Dive.
But yeah, what High Dive, like I was saying, what High Dive lacks in High Dive does have that, like, both TV and home video versions.
Yeah.
Which
so what you're saying is that in lieu of experience, they have both direction and magnitude.
Yes.
Bring back vector memes, everyone. It's the greatest thing.
I'm as an early adopter of High Dive and someone who's been pushing the service ever since I joined. I'm really happy that High Dive is part of Verve and that more people are going to be able to see their content.
Yeah.
But at the same time, damn, Funimation's going to be missed.
In a sense.
What am I going to do in the hypothetical case that I get my 5th season of Full Metal Panic?
Hope they don't license it.
They're going to license it.
No, they're not, because it's not going to be made. The situation keeps getting worse exponentially. Kevin, knock off your
Why must you hurt me?
Knock off your spiral of depression. We have a show to do.
All right.
I mean, come on, they barely managed to scrape together a 4th season.
If I have to.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's a weird feeling because, like, it's inconvenient, but it's inconvenient because I've never felt like Funimation stuff is worth paying for on its own. I don't know why.
Yeah, kinda.
Then again, I don't pay for anything, so.
Also, I kind of miss the interesting, like, split that Crunchyroll and Funimation had, where Crunchyroll would have all of Funimation's subtitle content, and Funimation now would be dedicated mostly to simuldubs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because we've always hated that direction in the first place, so.
I just thought it was interesting that they kind of made that little split. It's like, hey, if you want your dubs, this is where you go for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to point out. I was wondering if, because Nisekoi is licensed by Aniplex, but doesn't have a dub, so it's probably not on Netflix.
So it's what?
It's probably not on Netflix. It doesn't have a dub, and Netflix doesn't like accepting things without dubs.
True. Reminds me that when Netflix added Castle of Cagliostro back onto the service recently, instead of using the much more faithful dub from the 2000s, they decided to use the old dub from 1992.
Why would you ever?
Interesting decision. A bold strategy, but it might just pay off. That's like the opposite of cunning. What's the opposite of cunning?
Stupid.
No, it wasn't. Kevin, do the joke right.
No, in Texas. I don't know.
Kevin continues to be a pussy. And the new link is out.
What's new? So
Retard. It's retard.
Retard. Right.
Yep. He says it. See, he even admits it. How can you be with this man?
I don't know, but you've been with me for about 3 years now, and we're not stopping.
Oh, congratulations. When's the wedding?
That's not...
Our relationship is officially more solid than Crunchroll's and Funimation's.
Ah.
That wasn't hard.
I
always got the sense that even through it all, they were still kind of budding frenemies.
You know, I did make the joke in another server that Funimation leaving Verve and taking their content off of Crunchyroll and then High Dive joining soon thereafter kind of reads like Funimation leaving their girlfriend, Funimation leaving Crunchyroll and then Crunchyroll being so depressed that they go back to their ex.
Some might say that once we start humanizing these companies, we've fallen too far into the capitalist rabbit hole.
Do I look like I give a fuck?
I think you want to give a fuck. I just don't think you have the choice to.
I don't have the incentive.
We sit here waiting for a world to change. Just here waiting for a world to change. It's not that we don't care. It's that we know that the fight ain't fair. And so we keep on waiting for a world to change.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is where I get the half-ass, like the half-hearted fucking like theater improv group clap, like.
You're not wrong.
I'll now express my anti-capitalist sentiment through freeform jazz.
How did that art degree treat you there, bud?
Not great.
Says the person going for an art degree.
You backfire. You made yourself more depressed than you made me.
I mean, I'm going for one of the few fields in art that actually is stable, so...
Porn.
No, but I've considered it. So much money to be made.
Wherever the technology goes, porn will follow.
Fuck.
After all, Kevin, you know what was the first widely available 4K video on the internet? Porn.
Yeah, I figured.
Yep.
Porn is always at the forefront of technology. Never forget that.
Exactly.
Why do you think VHS succeeded?
Exactly. Fucking why do you think augmented reality is going to be a big thing?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Porn's got that shit on lock.
Exactly. Yeah, we've talked about our general frustration with having too many streaming services before.
Yeah.
To which I've had conversations with Anubis where it's always interesting because like what's healthy is having choice, but what's also not healthy is having too much choice. So
yeah,
it's always a hard balance to maintain, and of course none of the parties involved are interested in balance. They're interested in getting the biggest piece of the pie. So I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna come, it's gonna go, and it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to get more turbulent from here, and that's just how it goes.
We're probably going to have a good few years where things are just in this incredibly nebulous state of just nothing is incredibly solid, and things are constantly being swapped back and forth. It's like High Dive's here, High Dive's not here, Crunchyroll's here, Crunchyroll's not here. And this actually brings up something I was talking about it with Anubis one time. The day this was announced, like the Funnyroll split.
Yeah. I prefer Crunchymation.
Me and Anubis have a theory that with Crunchyroll, they might be trying to make the Crunchyroll name into more of a brand than a service, which is why they haven't been focusing as much on their website infrastructure or improving the actual user base experience. And at some point, they're going to fold Crunchyroll completely into Verve.
Yeah. I've been wondering when they were going to do that, because it always just seems so weird to me that Crunchyroll is such a big partner of Verve, but yet it's not exclusive to Verve.
Yeah, and it would also explain exactly why they're doing stuff like making a convention and doing award ceremonies. So they're trying to increase Crunchyroll's awareness as a brand as opposed to a service. And what I'm assuming that they're going to do is something similar to what High Dive did for early adopters. Existing Crunchyroll subscribers will have the option to transfer their subscription over to Verve, and for a limited time, they'll be able to keep their $7 a month as like an introductory price.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen.
I would hope so, because otherwise they're just startlingly incompetent. If they said that, because not saying that is just building a lot of animosity in the anime community.
Yeah, it makes people look at Crunchyroll like, what the fuck what the fuck are you guys even doing anymore? Like, aren't you guys an anime service? And when you look at it in the way of they're trying to increase brand awareness as opposed, hello,
I cut out, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, if you read it as them trying to increase brand awareness as opposed to them trying to increase themselves as a service, then it makes a lot more sense, the business practices that they've been doing lately.
I know, I'm just, like I said, I wish they'd say that, because they could avoid a lot more animosity if they did.
Yeah, and you know, I think if they do this, it's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah.
Like it'll be good for consumers in the long run.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not being incredibly open about it is concerning if this is the case.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, because I feel like anime in particular, if you're a very casual person, you don't know the ins and outs of who made stuff, who licenses stuff, who has stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, with Funimation not being on Verve anymore, that might be a bigger blow than we realize, because a lot of casual people are going to go to Verve looking for My Hero Academia, looking for whatever else they have,
and Attack on Titan.
Yeah, and just not finding it. So it's like, oh, maybe they'll find Attack on Titan, because that's always been kind of a split.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's a weird thing, because Funimation, they don't license everything, but they license a lot of key things. So particularly in like the public casual consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting. Looking forward to the evolution of Verve as a service, though. I've always liked Verve.
Yeah, Verve. Who knows? Currently, I don't see much incentive to switch over to Verve, considering that the only stuff I'm really interested on there currently is, Crunchyroll and High Dive, and paying for a Verve subscription is only like $1 cheaper than paying separately. So,
yeah, but you get all that other stuff that I want, and I can mooch off you.
Why haven't you just mooched off me?
If you'd allow.
Yeah, just let me have your Netflix.
You don't have Netflix?
No. It's equivalent exchange.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know my Netflix login. I'll have to look into that.
Oh man, you'd be like one of like 20 people mooching off my Verve at this point.
Yeah.
Sometimes things pop up in my watch list. I'm like, who is sitting?
Oh my god! I'm still mooching off someone else's Hulu Plus, and I haven't talked to this person in like 4 years. So must be really awkward. They just randomly see stuff in their watch history. Like, who the fuck? Who's been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine so much?
That's another one I remember I have, but I never use. I only use it for the Spotify.
Yeah. I don't have Spotify Premium. The weird thing is they keep advertising that 99-cent thing, and I'm like, that's great at first, but then it's like $10 a month, and I'm just not paying that for music.
For students, it's $5.
I'm not paying that for music.
I mean, it's nice because when you have Spotify on your phone and you're like, I want to listen to this song, and it's like, do you shuffle a playlist?
Like I use Spotify a lot. I have my own playlist. It's called the Z Freak Experience, but I just don't have premium.
I know. I'm just saying, like, sometimes I just want to listen to a very specific song. I don't want to have to hit shuffle 15,000 times.
I don't have to do that. Like, you can just search a song and play it.
Squints.
Yeah, I guess my free service works better than yours somehow.
Maybe I'm just stupid and I was using it wrong. I don't know. That could be a thing. I'm not exactly the brightest.
Also, you posted something in Danganronpa spoilers. Are you showing off the pen?
No, it's the title of the fanfic. It's not what I'm actually using, though. I actually made a pretty snazzy little GIF.
Okay. Because it was gonna be like, I love those pens.
No, these are the Micron pens.
I love the Micron pens. They're so great. I need to get new fresh ones.
Look at my manga pins, guys.
I can make mangas with them.
Well, when my 2D design professor told us we needed these Micron pens, one girl she just goes next to me, and I look at her, and I notice she's wearing like an anime shirt, and I'm just like, this fucking weeb.
That has a Sakura pedal on it. It appeals to my weeb sensibilities. It's just like one of my Japanese animes.
But no, Micron pens are the shit.
Oh, they're so wonderful.
Yeah.
They write so smooth.
They require you have India ink too.
I hate India ink so much.
You're not using like marker form? Because in marker form it's great.
No, we literally have the ink like with the dropper, and we have to mix it with water and use bamboo brushes.
Oh, I hate bamboo brushes.
Especially the ones I got. The ones I got were pretty expensive, but they're like falling apart, and I'm just like, I spent $20 on 3 brushes. Granted, I could have spent $50 on 3 brushes, but like they shouldn't be falling apart on me after 2 uses.
Damn it! I hate anything with brushes. I'm like, I came here to draw, not paint.
Well, when I enrolled in 2D design, I thought it was a graphic course.
No.
So it's required for me, period. But I'm just kind of like, Yep. This isn't what I signed up for.
Yep. You know what's worse than India ink? Conte.
I have to use that later in the semester, and I don't want to.
Block posted something in Danganronpa spoilers. Perfect.
Oh, that reminds me of forever ago. When I was promising, I never did it, but I was promising DRG I was going to write a Tenko restraining order fic, and I never did.
Oh my god, please do that. I need that in my life.
I too would like this.
Yeah.
Man, me and Tenko have a love-to-hate relationship. It's like, man, I hate this bitch. Oh, hey, this bitch actually ain't too bad. And now I'm like, hey, write a restraining order. I love that.
It happens.
I think the only thing I like about Tenko is how you've written her so far, Zeke.
Yeah.
She's slightly tolerable in your fic. Lightly.
I think part of the reason she's slightly tolerable is that she actually gets proper retribution for her dumb shit actions.
Yeah.
And also has that cute little development between her and Rentaro.
Well, because there's like Man, I love talking about my work this way, but there's like a self-awareness to what Tenko is that the game just doesn't really have, So that's like I think that's a big part of it when it's like constantly being reinforced that way.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the game is everyone like romanticizes the bullshit she's doing.
Most of the time they just ignore it, but like the few times where it's relevant, they do kind of, they do that. I don't know if I call it.
They're such close friends. No, they're not.
Well, that's the thing is that like half the characters are exactly like that. But like, no, they're not. But like, it's like I don't know how to describe. I wouldn't call it romanticizing it. I'd just call it like putting it in the most positive light possible. In specific thematic instances, I don't know.
I don't know. It's the influx of like the Venn diagram of people who are like Tenko apologists and Tenmiko shippers overlaps to where it's nearly 100%. I feel.
Yeah.
It is a circle.
It is just a circle. It's one circle. Yeah, it's annoying, but. Yeah, like if she's more tolerable for you in a wolf's crime, it's probably more because of the self-awareness aspect that's just constantly being reinforced there.
Yeah,
because like her introduction is literally Himiko vanishing with an IOU note, so it's like
literal
kind of amusing.
We're not even an IOU note, more like a gone fishing. It's not like
Is that what they call it?
To get back to the safe place. Yeah, no, I like her though. She's fun to write. So yeah, thanks guys. I could always use my daily dose of praise.
Gotta have that ego stroke every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
yeah.
No, you can say your thing.
No. I was about to say it's like we've been on a tangent for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we do here. That's what we do here. It's the Baka Gaijin way. That's what we do. What about the program guy who's been on every single episode? Except for the secret ones I haven't told him about. What? Who's that? What? Guarded by centaurs? So anyway, we've talked enough about the split. Let's talk about this current anime season, what we've been watching, what we think about it, and also whose birthday it isn't. Not mine.
Not mine.
Not mine.
Not it.
What?
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
So everyone, what have you been watching in this current anime season?
Gridman.
You mean Gridman?
Yes, I've been watching Gridman.
Oh, how what do you think about Gridman?
It's good.
It's good.
It's good, man.
God dang it, guys.
I haven't seen episode 3 yet, but yeah, it's been fun.
I'm really enjoying it. It's very much in the vein of like a typical. From what I understand, it's very similar to the original series. Well, of course, but it's apparently very similar to the original series in terms of its structure.
Yeah.
I've seen some Ultraman and I've seen some Sentai and some Kamen Rider, and it's basically what happens when you let mecha animators and designers make a love letter to Toku.
Yeah.
And I
honestly did not.
right.
I didn't even know Gridman was a franchise until after like 2 episodes there, and it was like, oh yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah. It's technically speaking an offshoot of Ultraman, which is why.
What is it really? I mean, honestly.
I mean, ultimately, Ultraman's kind of like up there with Godzilla as like the granddaddy of all tokusatsu. So,
Tokusatsu is the most like fucking incestuous family tree. I swear.
It kind of is.
Yep. They even fucked Spider-Man once.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. He's the reason why there's robots in Super Sentai.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
This is like that is one of my favorite little Super Sentai factoids. It's like, hey, the reason why Power Rangers has robots is because there was a Japanese Spider-Man cartoon where he had a giant robot, or TV show, whatever, rather.
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
It was a cartoon to be even better.
It'd be better than the one we got.
Leopardon, go. Yeah, what do we got? Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Oh, George with the epic burn, not as incestuous as the Western animation industry.
Oh,
we'll get to that.
That's a good one.
That's the best burn I've ever heard from George.
A good one, man.
Yep, good job. Let's give him, everybody, let's give him the cafe in the middle of nowhere clap. Out of rhythm, no conformity.
Perfect. But yeah, Gridman's a lot of fun.
Oh, did you see that interview with the director where he was talking about the designs?
Oh yeah, he asked for Rika's ass to be slightly larger and her thighs to be slightly thicker than the rest of the cast.
Yeah,
and the internet ran with that one.
Yeah, and with Akane, is like, I want her cuteness to be into something, her, what was it again? I forget exactly what he said. Something about her having big boobs and indomitable cuteness apparent to everyone or something. I forget. Anyway, the title of the Reddit thread was "The director of SF's Gridman is one of us, a man of culture as well."
You know, let me tell you, like every week I go into the Gridman tag and it is a combination of actual screenshots and people talking about the show and just Rika's ass. So
yeah.
Which
is so funny because like it's not even like that prominent in the show. It just kind of exists.
It's not really like if the creator hadn't actually said anything, I don't think many people would have noticed.
Yeah.
But since he did, it's like, oh damn, she actually kind of does. So you know,
I mean, when you're proud of it.
Love how everyone's just like thick.
Yep.
That's you know what? I am totally okay with this.
It's a bit of a liberal translation, but we'll run with it. You watching anything else?
I'm also watching Release the Spice on High Dive, which I have not seen episode 3 of. Funny. First 2 episodes, though, were really fun. The basic premise of this show is that the main characters are part of God, what is the word I'm looking for? Like this sort of spy organization that's been around since
an agency,
something or other. Like this spy organization that's been around like since ancient Japan.
Yeah. Just looking at the poster, it looks like knockoff Senran Kagura to me.
Well, yes. Instead of big boobs, we have big gay.
You didn't have big gay in Senran Kagura?
We had reasonable amounts of gay.
Mild gay?
Mild to moderate gay.
Yeah.
So like an uwu face, but like the U's aren't capitalized.
Like the average Ardank memes mod?
Release the Spice is really is a pretty fun show so far. It's written by the same person who wrote Yuki Yuna is a Hero.
Oh.
And shares a lot of and shares a lot of similarities with that in terms of its writing. So, hey, if you like Yuki Yuna, go watch Release the Spice. And hey, since it's coming to Verve soon, you can just go there.
What do you mean soon? It doesn't have like 3 episodes out already?
Well, High Dive's not actually been incorporated into Verve yet. They just announced it.
No, I meant you said coming to High Dive, not coming to Verve.
No, I meant coming to Verve.
So it's on High Dive now.
Yeah, it's on High Dive now, but it'll come to Verve later.
Okay. Should have said that.
Yeah, so it's on High Dive now. If you have High Dive, go ahead and watch it. But yeah, it's a fun show, and the music in it is like really fucking good. You like techno and like trance music and whatever, you'll like this shit. Like the music for Release the Spice is right up Zeke's alley over here.
Oh, cool.
You mentioned Senran Kagura. I'm actually watching the new season of that.
Oh yeah, I forgot that exists.
Well, I am a Senran Kagura fan. I am obligated to not forget it.
Yeah, wasn't the first anime shit though?
The first anime was shit because it was actually adapting one of the games,
Yeah.
specifically the first game, and it recontextualized a bunch of scenes, and it altered early story elements, and tried to make itself a lot more lighthearted early on before it had to, kind of focus more on the serious plot of the first game. The first game was a lot more gradual in introducing the more serious plot elements. The new anime is, in terms of its tone and writing, much more in line with the games.
Yeah.
In terms of its overall tone, I'd say it's more close to Shinobi Versus and Estival Versus than it is the games on the 3DS, which is fine.
Yeah.
The main conceit of the PlayStation games is that they are more fan service heavy. They still have, the stories are still there. It's just that there's more overt fan service and sillier character moments, and
Yeah.
a little bit of exaggeration of certain character traits. Like there's one character, Emu, who was introduced in Shinobi Versus. Don't worry, I'm not going to do a 45-minute dissertation on Senran Kagura. You don't got to worry about that.
Okay.
Like there's one character, Emu, who in the first game where she's introduced, Shinobi Versus, it's clear that she has a lesbian crush on her team leader, Miyabi. But beginning with Estival Versus, that is like her entire character just being incredibly gay for Miyabi. It kind of comes to a head in episode 2 of Shinobi Master, which is the current season, where she's just like, yes, Miyabi, I know this might be a trap, but I also really, really want to see you in a swimsuit. Girl got her priorities straight, or gay, as
Or not.
Poor wording on my part.
Yep.
But that season is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that one. Aside from that, JoJo Part 5.
Yep.
Which this is the first time I'm going into a JoJo Part completely blind with the anime.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's technically speaking the second time because I did not read Battle Tendency in the manga.
Yeah.
I read part of Phantom Blood and the first 6 volumes of Stardust Crusaders, and the entirety of Diamond is Unbreakable, with the exception of the final arc.
Right. Why would you stop there?
Because I ran out of good scans.
Had to resort to Dwang.
Actually, I didn't want to. So I was like, you know what? We're getting an anime. I'll just wait.
We're avoiding the Dwang.
Yeah. So I've only read the first couple chapters of... I've only really watched the first 2 episodes worth in the manga. So from this point on, I'm going into Part 5 more or less blind, aside from memes. Like, I didn't even know Pulpo existed until, 2 days ago?
Yep.
I'm really enjoying
do you not know that someone comes back?
Oh, I know one character comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who comes back. I know.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like that character.
That's a good... Yeah, that is a good person.
No spoilers.
Let's switch turns for a second. Ash, what have you been watching?
So this season's maybe very conflicted on how I feel about goblins.
It's the season of the goblins.
Because you have Goblin Slayer, where they're literal monsters. Like, no goblin is good. No goblin, they're all bad. They should all
the
just
only good
rot in their
goblin is
holes.
one that doesn't come out of its fucking hole.
Exactly. Okay, so that gives me feels, and I watched that first, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling this. But then I watch,
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
yes, when you're watching slime and they're actually cute and one of them is arguably husbando material,
Yeah.
it really makes you think.
Yeah, and then in Alice's Asian this week, there were more goblins.
What
Oh
is
my
up
God.
with goblins this season?
I know. An
Um,
amusing coincidence.
But no, I mean, I'm a big fan of isekai stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll never get tired of it. Probably, like even the more mediocre ones, I still am like, okay, I still kind of enjoyed that because it's just my shtick. But I'm really liking slime. It's so weird.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you definitely should give it a chance because it's
I just
one
heard
of those.
I just heard the first episode had a lot of exposition. I was like, I'm not in the mood.
It did, but I mean, it's one of those where I'm like, okay, this guy's like low key overpowered, but he's also a slime.
Yeah.
So I'll allow it. I'll allow it this time. You know, this little blob that just kind of mindlessly goes about its business doing its things.
Yeah. I only watched the first episode of Goblin Slayer. I need to catch up on that.
You definitely should because
Yeah.
the first one's rough.
Yeah.
It's real rough, and I see why so many people had a problem with it.
I don't, but I would have predicted why they did.
I mean, I remember someone saying that they saw it listed as being PG somewhere, and it was like some stupid error by like probably like some stupid Facebook page or something.
Yeah, well, that's not the show's fault. That's some fucking asshole's fault.
Exactly. So, you know, when you go into it thinking that it's going to be something like, fun, he's killing goblins, and then you get that entire first episode, I can see why I'd be angry. But, like, I don't know, I feel like watching the trailers, you know what you're getting into.
Who watches trailers anymore?
We call them PVs in the industry.
Oh, whatever. Kiss my ass. But other than those two,
I haven't seen it yet. Have you watched Zombieland Saga?
oh yes, so good.
I have not, but everyone everyone on my timeline fucking loves it.
The best thing about it is, you know, it's like what's the genre of the week kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like it starts off, you know, like you think it completely blows my expectations every week because I'm expecting something that I don't get, but I get something 10 times better than what I wanted.
Right.
I mean, I can't really say much since neither of you have watched it, but yeah.
Yeah. All right then.
I mean, other than that, I watch a lot of gay shit. So I mean, you see where gay shit of both men and women. You see where my interest this season is because there's lots of gay shit this season.
Yes, there is.
Kevin, you watching the new Ace Attorney?
No, I'm not.
You didn't like the first one, did you?
I watched the first few episodes and I was like, wow, this adaptation is really, really disjointed. So I just kind of, after the first like case and a half, I was just like, nope, fuck it. Not dealing with that shit.
Does Zombieland Saga have Twinkies? Does it even have Twinks to E?
No, but the director of like the manager, I want to be him in every physical aspect of his nature. And I think what's interesting is like his subbed voice. He almost has like an American accent, like American person speaking Japanese accent. Yeah. You can tell he's definitely like there's something more there, and I think that's really intriguing too because he's got the boisterous attitude of an American.
Quick tangent before I go on other things I've been watching. Kevin, did you see that Data Live season 3 got announced today?
Yeah, everyone was like, "Wow,
that's so
I
weird."
Don't remember shit.
That was my exact feeling. I'm like, it's been 5 years. I can't fucking remember anything. I'm vaguely interested, but
good for the Data Live fans.
Where has this been? This has to be the effort. This has to be because of the new Dengeki Bunko manager cooperation thing, where he's like greenlighting all this fucking shit. Where he was like, here's Index Season 3, and Railgun Season 3, and Accelerator anime. It was like, all this Dengeki Bunko shit is getting like pushed out because some creative lead got changed for a new guy who's all like, I want to make anime its own product in our portfolio. And I'm like, well, if that means more anime, then that's fine. It's fine with me, Mr. Dengeki Bunko, creative lead man.
Hey, that's a plus to me. That's a plus.
Yeah, exactly.
To me.
Can we get Excel World second season, please? Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, at some point, can we do that? Speaking of, I've been watching Alicization, which I don't know what the fuck Theron Martin's like. The production values are standard, but not top level. I'm like, what the fuck are you? What show are you watching? I don't understand.
It's like what, you expect everything to look like Kyoto Animation? Fuck's sake, dude.
I expect everything to look like Ping Pong, the greatest anime of all time.
Ping Pong.
Oh, you knock Ping Pong, man.
Fucking
Ping Pong's great.
I'm so fucking sick of Ping Pong. I haven't heard anyone. I haven't had to encounter Ping Pong fans for 4 years. I'm already sick of people talking about it. But no, but the production values and visuals are so good. It's so crisp and consistent. Has such great fucking lighting. Like so many of these scenes are like the kind of through the trees lighting, and it's so nice looking.
Oh my god, that sounds great.
The visuals have been changed up from prior seasons to look more like ordinal scale, which is a bit of a shift, but it looks really nice. And like, this is the arc of SAO, and so far, like, it's been a slow burn, but the build up has been really interesting.
Well, it's gonna be a full year, so strap the fuck in.
Unless they break it. I hope they don't break it. I hope they don't break. I hope they pull a fucking Attack on Titan and be like, we'll be back in 6 months.
Yeah, but with Attack on Titan, they had an excuse because how many animators did they have on them?
Okay, so like the last episode, the most recent episode of Attack on Titan, I shit you not, had 15 animation directors and 52 key animators.
Jesus.
For an episode that was mostly talking. Like, oh my god, it was, and it looked fine, but goddamn,
How the hell?
that's a fucking train wreck of a production waiting to happen. I don't blame them for taking 6 months off, but at the same time, I can blame them for having shit fucking planning at the start. How did that even happen? Because these seasons take so long to come out, and then when they happen, it's always some sort of rushed production, fucking working our people to death situation.
We thought Dragon Ball Super had problems.
Oh yeah, I don't want to hear a fucking lick about Dragon Ball Super after this.
Dragon Ball Super had like an amazing production schedule compared.
Having a supervisor for each half is nothing compared to this shit.
Oh god. Yep. What a disaster.
Yeah. So I mean, and you'd never know by looking. Like, it doesn't look super consistent, but it looks nice, you know. So it's like, god damn it. That's I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, but I hope things improve when they come back in 53 years. And then I'm watching Irozuku or Iroduku. It depends on how you transliterate it, because it's got that weird zoo character where it's like DZU. The new PA Works show by the director of Nagino Asakara, and I'm liking it. It's not an immediate shitfest like Glass Lip, but it's also
you've hit a very, very big sore for me since Nagi is probably my favorite anime ever, and Glass Lip hurt me on like a physical
Oh my god, it was so bad.
It was terrible.
How do you go from Nagiasu to Glass Lip? I don't understand.
Like, it had so much promise almost too, because like the first handful episodes, I'm like, I'm feeling this. This is cool. It's absolutely beautiful.
It just
the story
nowhere.
It's a lateral move. Like I feel like you end with more questions than you started with.
It's so the script is so bad, and I don't understand how it can look so beautiful and be directed so well, and yet the actual script is such garbage.
But what is worse? That or Witchcraft Works?
First of all, that's JC staff. Look, here's the thing. I hate Witchcraft Works, but at least it was coherent, is the thing.
Also had a really nice ending theme.
That's true. If you like Chibi's getting tortured. Which
I do!
Yes, Kevin does. He's a fucking creepy asshole.
Yeah, wait. I told him to fucking stuff.
Yeah. So, also, Data Life 3 by JC Staff. JC Staff doing so fucking. I feel like everything that's being announced right now is by JC Staff, which I'm told JC Staff is actually one of the biggest animation studios right now. I didn't know that. Which is fine because they're fine, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this new revitalized era of Dengeki Bunko properties, which is nice because for a while they seemed to just fall by the wayside a bit. They used to be all the time because like you get some shit, but then you also get some really cool stuff. So anyway, back to Irazuku. It's really pretty. I like the kind of relaxed pace of it. It's interesting, like thematically. I'm waiting for it to start hitting hard in some ways, but and I'm a little worried because I think it's only a single core, which these original projects tend to suffer when they're not.
Oh boy.
I don't know why they can't. I don't know why they have to do this because like whenever this team at PA Works gets to do double core, they do so well because they do stuff like Hanasaku Aroha and Nagino Asakata, and begrudgingly, I'll admit Shirobako. Shirobako's fine. I fucking hate its fans.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
very.
I'm just really sick about it. Oh, you don't understand the anime industry, Howard. Have you heard of a show called Shirobako? I'm like, oh my god, shut up. So fucking annoying. It's even more it's even more annoying than Praise Geraldo, EA bad CD Projekt Red good. Have you played The Witcher 3? It's even more annoying than that. Praise Geraldo.
Hey, have you heard of this little indie game called The Witcher 3?
Yeah, you might have heard of it. You might have heard of it. I feel like The Witcher 3 justifies that fame a little bit better than Shirobako, but that's just me. Because I feel like when you strip away the interesting trivia and the information nature of it, you're left with kind of a very standard sort of sitcom, you know? Just like, whatever. Anyway, it's good. But whenever they do single core shit, they pump out shit like Glass Slip and whatever the last thing I didn't like was. I forget what it was. Yeah. So.
Wait, so what are they doing this season?
Irozuku Sakai no Ashitakara.
Okay, give me the premise of it.
Well, it says, in Nagasaki, a descendant of mages.
Okay, yes, that one.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, pretty fluid animation stuff. Very like really low key and like calm. I watched the 3 episodes that are out last night because the power was out and I had them saved. It's on Amazon Prime, unfortunately.
I mean, do you want that? No, I'm not going to give you that. That's hooked up to my credit card.
Yeah. So no, I have Amazon Prime. It's fine. I was complaining about this for a while, and then I remembered. Oh wait, no, they merged the anime service with regular Prime streaming, so I can watch stuff now.
Indeed.
Because before it used to be a separate service.
Hey,
no, it's not. Hey,
watch Made in Abyss.
Oh yeah, I can do that now. You know what? I feel like that's something I'm gonna do when they announce the second season, and I'll be like, okay, I'll catch up on that.
I think they already have announced the second season.
Yeah, but when is it, Kevin? Just eventually, sometime?
They're working on it.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
I think you're confusing your dreams with your memes.
I want my dreams to be memes.
Yeah.
You okay there, buddy?
No.
Okay. You know, something I was wanting to watch this season, but so far on my anime list has terrible ratings, is the one about like the weird space fisherman.
Space fisherman.
What?
Yeah, Sora to Umi no Aida. In the future, set in Onimichi, Hiroshima, fish disappear from the sea.
Based on a video game, what the fuck?
Yeah, but like the ratings are terrible so far.
It must be. It's by TMS Entertainment, so I can't imagine the animation's very good.
Well, it depends. Are we which TMS are we talking about? Are we talking about Bakamatsu Gaijin Roman TMS or Lupin the Third TMS?
Or are we talking about Twin Tail TMS, which is, oh my god, that show just melted.
Wait, you mean gotta be the Twin Tail?
Gotta be the Twin Tail.
That was TMS?
I think so. Pretty sure.
Hold on.
That show was a fucking trip by the end.
Oh, that was production IMS.
These companies need to have more distinct names. I'm tired of this. Yeah. I was gonna watch Conception for a laugh. I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
Oh boy, have fun.
Gonna be
my-
the Twin Tail is like, oh god, that is like a guilty pleasure show for me because it's like the main character turns into a really cute girl, but oh my god, the show is bad.
Yeah, the show is really bad. But it's like by the end, it's like so fucking like stupid. It's funny.
What's your favorite?
It's like the perfect,
especially by the end when he like reincarnates himself by like philosophically waxing poetic about the nature of Twin Tails. It's like it's so weird.
Oh my god, I need to rewatch it now. Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
That is like the perfect anime to just sit back and heckle the shit out of.
Oh boy.
Oh god, it's like the
the
perfect
last time I
B-movie.
watched something because it was bad.
Please watch Twin Tail. I actually recommend it because it's so shit.
I
It
can't
is
think
an
of-
experience.
I can't think of anything that was that bad either that I watched. I've watched a lot of bad things, but it's been a while since I watched something because it was bad.
Yeah. Oh, have either of you seen the Skeleton Bookseller one?
Nope.
Nope.
Definitely recommend it. It's hilarious. It's like half form, so it's really short.
If something was really dumb and came out in 2014, I probably watched it.
No, that's airing this season.
Alright.
No, it's about like this skeleton that works at a bookstore, but like
Oh no, I've seen screenshots of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like the guy talking about like this is special yaoi book.
yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
Like there's
I've
an
seen
entire
that.
episode where he talks about like the BL section and how like all these fujoshis come in and he's just like stop.
You know what? I don't think I've like actually like actively watched a short form since like Tanari no Seki-kun.
I say this one's humorous because I like how I know there's one episode where he prefaces basically saying if you want to work in a bookstore, please reconsider.
Remember Tanari no Seki-kun, Kevin? The one about like the weird guy that sits next to her and like does weird shit when the teacher's not looking.
I remember that. I never watched it.
I
The
didn't.
last
Mildly amusing.
the last short form I actually watched to completion was me and Jen actually spent an afternoon, by which I mean an hour, watching watching. God, I forget the Japanese name, but it translates to my landlord is a middle school student or something.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cute. I like.
Oh, you know what else I watched that I regretted? Pupa. Why wasn't that a full anime?
Everyone regrets watching Pupa.
Pupa's
Pupa-
fine, but it's like it needed to be a full anime. Jeez.
Like I read all of it and it's
I
it's
read
not
it.
bad necessarily.
It's all right. It would have been interesting if it was like a well-directed anime, but this short form garbage is like. what the
I
fuck?
love 4 minutes of her saying Oni-chan while she devours her brother. I love it.
I would have liked 24 minutes of that. Thank you.
I also want to watch that one where it's like the student, like my wife is the student council president. That's technically speaking a short form because every episode is like 12 minutes long.
Oh, you know what? Back in my hummingbird days, you know what the funniest fucking review I wrote was for? It was for a short. It was like a 4-part short form series promoting Sega's like fucking like. It was like a Hatsune Miku rhythm game. It was like about haiku. It was like haiku a go-go or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but I wrote a review for it and it was fucking hilarious.
Oh man, I wish Hummingbird were still around so I could read that.
Yeah, I read my own reviews. Have dumb people with weird accents tell me how much they hate my reviews.
The most memorable review you've ever done is the one for Witchcraft Works where you called it Bitchcraft Works.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh boy, I remember this.
Like I got bored one day and just found that tag on your Tumblr. I'm like, huh, I'm gonna read all of this.
Oh yeah, some of them are on my Tumblr. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what the tag was.
I think it was like Zeke reviews or something. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Maybe.
Probably.
Anyway, the days of me watching literally everything and reviewing it. I have better things to do with my time. I'm channeling them into creative pursuits.
You mentioned Glass Slip, and wasn't that the one where you made a tweet where it's like a girl with cock or whatever?
Oh yeah, girl alone with her room and with cock, and she's just holding a chicken.
Yes. I think that was the only really good part about the anime was the chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I
But
actually
enough about Tamako Market.
Uh,
I forever fight with Cube over that because I love fucking Deru or whatever. Is that
Data.
Data. I love Data. He does not like Data. I was almost upset with the movie because he's only in like the first 4 minutes and then there's no more Data.
Oh, sad face.
We do have creepily accurate photorealistic background art though.
Oh, neat.
To the point where
That sounds like every animation movie.
Yeah, where I wrote that article where I'm like, Kyoto Animation use actual photographs instead of art.
I think the first time I noticed their movie productions having like near photorealistic art was like the Disappearance movie, where it was way more detailed than the show.
Bring up my checklist of an episode. Kevin mentions Disappearance. Check.
Look, man. It's a sit-down conversation.
I guess now is a great time to mention that I've never seen it.
Are you telling me you need an intervention?
I might. Anime is my anti-drug because when you watch anime, you can't afford drugs. That's classic.
Anyway, is that it? Can we go on break?
Yeah, probably.
All right. We're going to go on break, and when we come back, we're going to air some dirty laundry.
Oh, boy.
Stay tuned. You're listening to the Baka Gaijin Show here on youtube.com/something. Room to five for per hour just fucking so was vestra you in 3 extra out of 5 new equals.
I love when you speak tongues.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Face bathroom.
Same.
As someone who has literally nothing to say about JoJo, when you guys go on JoJo rants, I just kind of sit here and stare at the wall.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Not me. I'm out. See ya. I'll be right back, actually.
Okay. All right. Hello. You're listening to the... God damn it. I fucked up. Kick it on post.
I had a sudden intolerable craving for dark chocolate, and then I remember I have dark chocolate.
Oh,
It's like life aligned properly today.
oh, so nice.
What, do you like dark chocolate?
Yeah.
Gasp.
What do you think I am, Kevin?
What, does Kevin not like dark chocolate?
No, he hates it.
Oh, we can't be friends anymore. Is he? Do you want to be my best friend?
You should tell him that to his face.
Do you want to be my new best friend?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice. Nice to be friends.
Internet high five.
That was so bad.
You left me hanging.
Here.
Okay.
Just technical difficulty.
What were you juggling?
No, I actually dropped a piece of chocolate on the floor and had to pick it up.
Oh, good. Your dog might have gotten that, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm dead now."
My dog isn't here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wow, way to be insensitive.
I'm sorry, your dog didn't die.
About forgetting the dog isn't here, not the dog not dying.
Well, if he's not there, he can't die, can he? Unless he gets hit by a car or something.
Well, I really hope they're not walking him on the street. They have a yard, like a fenced-in yard.
You don't like him on the sidewalk?
Not if I can help it. I'd rather walk him in grass. It's good for the feet.
Oh. I walk my dog over some volcanic soil so he can harden his resolve.
Ha! I've got a screenshot to show you.
Of a dog on volcanic soil?
Mm-mm. About a very good discussion that we've had multiple times. I got tag you and Carnival and Val in it. There we go. The hat always wins. Told him thank you for his addition to the team hat.
Man, I had a surprise for you, and now I feel like taking it away.
Oh no, please give me it. What is it? I like surprises.
Well, if I told you, it won't be a surprise, now will it?
Okay, but like when were you gonna give it to me?
When it was done.
But what is it?
A surprise. I just told. Listen, jeez.
This is me you're talking to. Have you not realized at this point that I'm incredibly impatient?
I may have gleamed that at several instances, yeah.
What do you mean?
I said gleamed.
Oh, I said blamed. I was like, blame me for what? There's a lot of things you can blame me for.
It's true.
Don't be mean to me. I'm a nice
I have
person.
returned.
Oh, Kevin. Sorry to tell you, but you've been officially replaced. Zeke is now my new best friend.
What?
You don't like dark chocolate.
What?
You don't like dark chocolate.
I never said that. Who told you I never liked dark? Whoever told you that lied.
Zeke said it.
You lied, motherfucker.
I didn't know. You hate dark chocolate.
I love dark chocolate.
Since when?
forever. I said I prefer milk chocolate, but I love dark chocolate. Come on.
You lied to me.
Okay, Zeke, you've been officially re-demoted. Kevin, you have been re-promoted.
Yay.
Don't promote this liar. He lies about his chocolate preferences.
Bitch, I will go out to the store right now.
As long as his preference isn't white
Don't
chocolate.
go to the store right now. You're on a podcast, you stupid asshole.
True. I won't.
You think this is novelty hour? You think you can just skip away between episodes for 2.5 hours to go grocery shopping? No. That is not how we do things here.
What about ice cream? Can I go say I'm gonna go be gone for half an hour to get ice cream and come back 4 hours later?
No, that would be a dick move for all involved.
You right?
You right?
Ain't going to deny it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I see where you is.
So Silver asked me, how did you, Zeke, Panda, Chris, Carnival, and Spike all meet? What do I tell him?
The truth.
Don't tell him the truth.
The truth is terrible.
He can't handle the truth. Chocolate isn't dairy, Locke.
It is.
The amount of dairy in chocolate isn't really enough to upset my stomach.
Yeah,
Especially dark chocolate.
Kevin, that's like claiming cake is dairy.
Oh, the ice cream? You know they have ice cream that's made with almond milk, right? It's actually pretty common.
At ice cream stores is common?
No, but at ice cream stores, they'll have, like, non-dairy alternatives.
Like sherbet?
Mm-hmm.
I like sherbet.
Sherbet.
Is it sherbet?
It's sorbet, you stupid asshole.
Is it sure? Sorbet is the one, I think, without...
Sorbet's how it's spelled, but it's pronounced sherbet for some reason.
I mean... Ugh.
I don't know. It's like Richard shortening to Dick somehow. It's just one of those things that is true for some reason.
Oh, no. Sherbet, sorbet, and ice cream are 3 different things.
Whatever.
Kevin, you lied to me.
What?
Sherbet contains milk. Ice cream contains heavy whipping cream. And sorbet doesn't have either.
I wasn't listening. I was too busy reprimanding George.
Mm. Well. Why do you have to be this way?
What were the differences again?
Sherbet is made with milk. Ice cream is made with heavy whipping cream. And sorbet doesn't have either. It's non-dairy.
Okay.
So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
What about Italian ice?
Italian ice is also okay.
Yeah, but what does it contain?
It's Italian ice is honestly like a freaking Slurpee.
Don't tell them that.
Let's see. Italian ice is a sweetened frozen dessert made with fruit or other natural or artificial food flavorings, similar to sorbet.
Oh. I hope you realize you named our anime channel after Bennett the Sage.
Italian ice is similar to sorbet and snow cones, but differs from American-style sherbet that it does not contain dairy or egg ingredients, though it may contain egg white.
Kevin, what the fuck are you on about?
You do realize you named our anime chat after Bennett the Sage, right?
I didn't name it Bennett the Sage, no.
No, but you named it Anime Abandoned, which is his anime review series.
I didn't know that. I only watch good reviewers.
It's currently unholy.
She's right.
Well, I can't change it. I can only delete and remake it.
I mean, it's a good thing that all we have in here is George's sinning.
Birds!
Wait, no, I can change it. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Have I ever gone on my rant about the worst anime I've ever seen?
Go on.
That's better.
Have you ever heard of Lamune?
Lamoon. I've heard of it. I can think.
Literally the worst thing I've ever seen to date.
What's it about?
So it's about this guy and this girl. and it's like summer vacation or whatever, and like she grows watermelons and like draws faces on them and calls it like her Nanami special, and he's an asshole and like smashes him and shit. I don't know, but like there's a lot of little things that make this anime really stupid. So like she wears like this pin in her hair and he flicks it, and they have like this contest that are like, oh, whoever gets to 100 favors first wins, and every time he flicks her pin, it's like another favor or some crap. I don't know. It's stupid. But nothing happens for like 10 episodes. Nothing happens. Like, there's a girl that comes into town, he fixes her motorcycle, then she leaves. And he works at her diner for like a day or so. And like he buys her a new hairpin and she's afraid of storms. Like nothing happens. Even for a slice of life, it's boring. Yeah. Nothing happens. Except the 11th episode, where there's an earthquake at the very end. There's an earthquake and he's driving his motorcycle, but the cliff he's on falls apart from the earthquake and he gets knocked into a coma.
Oh my god, wow. That escalated.
The 12th episode is him in a coma and she's like trying to wake him up. And so she's in his room one day and she finds like this hairpin that's similar to hers but a different color. So she takes the two of them and makes them into a wind chime and puts them in the window. And at the end of the episode, he's just like, don't shut the window. It sounds so pretty. And she's like, you're awake. That's literally the entire series. Nothing happens at all.
Well, to be fair, at the very end, it escalated pretty fucking quick.
It was like development that could have taken place over 6 episodes happened in like 5 minutes. But I was so annoyed at that point. I just wanted to see if anything happened. That's why I finished it. I was so annoyed by that point. I didn't care that he was in a coma. I was happy he was in a coma because he was so boring.
It's like, hey, development.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at screenshots. These designs are so bland. They look like hentai designs.
It's pretty bad.
Like, it's one of those that just... yeah.
Them. All right, so I guess we're back. Anyone want to talk about? Let's talk about this here article here. So there's an article from boundingintocomics.com which describes a YouTube video by YouTuber Easy Peasy. I didn't watch the video. I thought it was just easier to read the article. About some shady backdoor dealings in the Western animation sphere. Now, keep in mind that this is from someone who's apparently been blacklisted. There's a lot of rumor and hearsay about some of these things, although a lot of it does sort of match up with what we know.
Yeah, like take what's in this with a heavy grain of salt, but do realize that there's probably some truth here.
I mean, keep in mind that Easy Peasy is the same guy that said Monty Ohm's wife killed him with a cat. So I mean, let's take it with a bit of a salt.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Because that could still be possible. I just don't want to think that's what happened. Anyway, I will read the report. The article by Spencer Bakuli. Blacklisted Industry Insider drops troubling information about the modern animation industry. In a recently uploaded video, YouTuber Easy Peasy claims to have been contacted by someone who not only worked in the animation industry, but has been blacklisted due to their views. They revealed to Easy Peasy in detail many of the underpinning issues plaguing the modern animation industry. This source, whose identity was omitted by Easy Peasy out of privacy concerns, alleges that not only is the industry incestuous in its hiring and opportunity practices, but also that certain pillars of the industry are unsustainable in their current form. The first allegation discussed by Easy Peasy are that many have been leveled against Adventure Time creator Pendleton Ward. Adventure Time made its debut in 2010 and is considered by many to be a pioneer, if not the source of the current state of television animation. The anonymous source alleges that Ward is completely unprofessional in his role as a showrunner. And we should probably clarify that by unprofessional here, they mean incompetent at his job, not unprofessional as in like some kind of criminal. So, just to be clear about that.
Yeah. We're talking Johnny Test. levels of.
Yeah, we're
Johnny
not
Test unprofessional.
Yeah,
Not
we're not clearance levels of unprofessional. No professionals were hired for Adventure Time, with positions instead going towards friends who, because of this personal connection, are not screened for merit. Directors, storyboard artists, and other employees on the show were given no direction or attention by Ward, who allowed his staff to run rampant with their own ideas, agendas, and insistences, which would often resulted in disconnected and awkward references to modern social issues and theory. In fact, Ward has such little control over his crew that one of the franchise's most progressive moments, the kiss between Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, was the result of a rogue storyboard artist inserting her personal desire into Ward's creation rather than a previously planned out story event.
So
Ward cared more. I'll get one after this paragraph. Okay. Ward cared more about his personal clout and likability amongst his crew than he did about being a leader, an allegation reinforced by him stepping down as showrunner and his reasoning for doing so. When one begins to focus more on their personal status than on their work, the work will inevitably suffer. I have heard that the final episode of Adventure Time was a complete train wreck to the point where Finn and Jake are barely even in it.
Goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, but the wording is intriguing. Hold up a fucking second.
We could sing Zippity Doo Dah.
I'm sorry, I'm having a moment here.
We'll get back to that point then. I'm gonna keep reading.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
I'm good now. Okay. Stupid cat. So, the wording of the article... Just go right back into it. The wording of the article implies that, like... The wording of, like, rogue storyboard artist implies that the person involved was, like, secretly inserted it into the storyboards amongst nobody else knowing. But if you actually look at the TV Line article that was linked, to quote the article, as for how the momentous lip lock came together, executive producer Adam Muto tells TV Line, there was some conversation about logistics, but it was really up to Hannah Kay. God, I am not pronouncing that last name. Hannah Kay, the storyboard artist who got that scene, to decide what her take on it was going to be. It wasn't in the outline when it was submitted. It didn't say that they kissed, just said that they have a moment. So rather than it being quote unquote a rogue storyboard artist, the script was vague, and it was up to the storyboard artist to interpret that in the way that they felt like was necessary.
I think the bigger point here is that there wasn't any leading creative vision, and these storyboard artists were just given scenes and allowed to do whatever they wanted with them.
True, that is a big.
Not adhering to anything.
Yeah, that is a bigger issue, because with a story like with a show like Adventure Time that likes to think that it has a relatively cohesive lore and plot structure, you kind of need that creative guidance in order to create a satisfying and cohesive, coherent, and consistent story.
Yeah, it's noted here
the fact that the fact that they didn't do that for Adventure Time. I don't know jack shit about Adventure Time, but judging from other people's reactions to the last couple of seasons, apparently it really shows.
It's noted here, Ward had previously wished to avoid showing this kiss, not out of homophobia or bigotry, but because homosexuality is still considered illegal in some of the countries in which Adventure Time is broadcast.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was important to him that everybody got the same package.
Yeah. Which is like the exact opposite of Rebecca Sugar. So,
yeah.
But we'll get to her in a few.
Continuing on, while Ward is an example of how poorly creators run their teams and creative processes, Alex Hirsch, creator of Gravity Falls, is put forward as an example of the industry's rampant incestual nepotism. The source alleges that many people in important positions on currently airing cartoons received their positions due to relationships with Hirsch. Darren Nefsey, creator of Star vs. The Forces of Evil, is alleged to have received her own television show on Disney due to the fact that Hirsch and Nefsey had been romantically involved during college. The fact that Nefsey's only credits prior to working on Star vs. are 3 short film stands only to support these allegations.
Okay, but here's the thing. Before I have to dig back in the animation industry to like the mid 90s here, but a lot of animation producers, like people who got to create their own shows on like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, they also started with only a few short films to their name.
I would argue that was very early in Cartoon Network. I'm not saying the Cartoon Network, I'm saying just Cartoon Network, cartoons on networks and generally.
Yeah.
That was so early that was the only credentials they could have at the time. So that makes sense. But at this point, just having just short films on your because even Hirsch was a storyboard artist on at least 2 other successful cartoons.
True.
On show.
I mean, I feel like
that would be like, what was it? Flapjack and Fishhooks?
Yeah, Flapjack and Fishhooks.
I mean, I feel like if someone like it takes a really special person to be able to bypass that, like someone like with exemplary promise to them.
Yeah.
But that's not the situation here, it seems.
We'll get on to that as soon as I read the rest of this. Dana Terrace, the current showrunner for DuckTales, is also alleged to have received numerous promotions and a prestigious opportunity due to Hirsch's influence and connections. Terrace is said to have only received the position after Hirsch, who had previously agreed to fulfill that position for the reboot, backed out of the project last minute and proceeded to promote Terrace, rather than on any of her own merits and experience. She was also alleged to be promoted over other candidates because of the fact that she was at the time romantically involved with Hirsch.
And mind you, when it says romantically involved with Hirsch, it actually links directly to a tweet where Alex Hirsch calls her his girlfriend. So.
This is supported by a quick glance at the IMDb page of Terrace's fellow series directors. While her colleagues may have credits among The Prince of Egypt, Transformers Prime, Ben 10 Omniverse, and American Dad, while Terrace's credits only include a 10-minute short film and 7 episodes of Gravity Falls as a storyboard artist.
Okay, that one is unlike the one with Darren Nefsey, where there are a lot of question marks throughout all of that. I think the one with Dana Terrace is the only one you could actually. Between these two, it's the one you could. It's the one that has the most concrete evidence.
Especially because, or maybe again, I forget the point you're making here, but because I can see in Store Versus where there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. With DuckTales, I don't really feel that. I feel like it's a pretty competently run ship, at least at the moment.
Yeah. One thing I will give this approach, begrudgingly, is that it has resulted in a lot of shows that have very unique creative voices that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
And in general, it's had a push more towards.
Go on.
But yeah, I will. Yeah. It's had more of a push towards serialized storytelling in animation media.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, a degree of serialization we didn't get in previous decades is much more prevalent now in the new 10s.
Yeah. We can talk about the overarching effects of this after we're finished, but continuing on. When unruly teams and rampant nepotism are the result of poor management and hiring practices of individual showrunners, these factors also tend to affect the shows themselves. Nefsey's team, after the conclusion of Starverse's first season, were allegedly so frustrated with Nefsey's laziness and incompetence that a majority of employees either quit or threatened to quit, with some of the directors planning to force Nefsey out as the showrunner. Sorry. This allegation is supported by the expansive list of full cast and crew for Starverses. For contrast, the cast and crew of similar shows, such as Gravity Falls and DuckTales, see more continuous employment than those for Starverses. I've seen this a lot myself. Starverses cast and crew goes through a lot of flipping around. You know, the show has gone through, I think, 5 different studios actually.
Goodness gracious, really?
Yeah.
Because didn't they start off with like Rough Draft Studios?
No, they start off with Mercury Stream, and then they went to Toon City, and then they went to Rough Draft.
Mercury Stream's a game developer.
No. I'm telling you, they were animated by Mercury Stream. I don't know if it's like a different company with the same name, but it's like a Korean place, you know.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, so and then they have someone else doing later seasons. Like it's all over the place. Steven Universe, a popular cartoon airing on Cartoon Network, also suffers from these industry-wide ailments. Showrunner Rebecca Sugar was originally hired by Pendleton Ward to work on Adventure Time based on her previous experience of independent comic work on Tumblr.com. After a short but influential stint on Adventure Time, Cartoon Network greenlit Sugar's original work, Steven Universe, and placed her in charge as showrunner. However, Sugar would unfortunately import the terrible work ethics and hiring practices displayed by Ward into her own production, and the abysmal outcome resulted in the long-standing tradition known as a Steven bomb.
This and a later part are the portions which kind of get my brain going the most, because it makes me wonder. It recontextualizes a lot of what we know about the industry currently, assuming it's true.
Steven bombs entail the release of several new episodes over a period of about 1 week between month-long hiatuses in Steven Universe's airing schedule. At one point, there was a 6-month gap between new episodes of Steven Universe, despite them all being produced for the same season. Easy Peasy's source states that these bombs exist to hide the devastating television ratings received by the show. If new episodes air in batches, the anticipation and short airing schedule provided a boost in numbers that the episodes would not see if they adhered to a regular airing schedule. The time slots chosen by Cartoon Network are also chosen to avoid airing Steven Universe against any competing show. This system was conceived by Cartoon Network, whom the anonymous source reports did so out of an effort to avoid firing Sugar. The ratings for Steven Universe may have been awful, but the inevitable backlash and optics from firing a popular female showrunner would not favor Cartoon Network. And the fact that that's even a consideration for Cartoon Network shows that there's a deep problem here.
Yeah, again, assuming this is true, because the only word we have about this is, this person who was blacklisted from the industry.
But just take that concept for a second. If the only reason, despite all this incompetence and apparently failure to garner decent ratings, the only reason they can't fire a woman is because she's a woman,
You're doing it wrong.
That's a bad concept, if true.
Yeah, and there's a little something.
As Reddit would say, substantial if substantiated.
Yeah, there's a little something a little further up ahead that kind of supports this, I guess, or rather, you could say it corroborates it slightly.
Yeah. Anyway,
it gives it credence, is what I'm saying.
Here's some more data. This graph you can look at on the article provided by Tumblr user What's New Cartoons provides a detailed listing of the ratings and views for every Steven Universe episode. One can see that in season 1, ratings consistently flirted with poor numbers. Conversely, one can also see that during Steven bombs, ratings were generally better than at times when Steven Universe aired on a normal schedule.
Okay, that is interesting.
One aspect of these allegations is especially concerning is the fact that many companies are taking staunch initiatives to not only exclude men from being hired, but also to ostracize or fire them from their current positions in effort to improve equality. Equality, Kevin. The source claims Kyle Carrozza, creator of the short-lived Mighty Magiswords cartoon for Cartoon Network, saw his show canceled and animosity directed his way simply because he was white. They also claim that a Me Too-style list is circulated amongst the industry with names of men who are creepy or possibly sexually dangerous, and yet the list does not undergo any sort of review. Names can be added at will, leading to claims that the list has been turned into a tool to slander and smear male colleagues.
Okay, schmear. And 2...
Sure.
That is alarming.
Yeah.
Because
I should also mention that I found this article on Kotaku in Action, on our Kotaku in Action, basically the Gamergate subreddit that has since spread into other issues reporting on, behind the scenes corruption and whatnot in various industries. So that's kind of where this is all coming from. And I love the top comment, because when it says various people who are in romantic relationships with Alec Hirsch getting promoted, and the top comment is literally, "Stop me if you've heard this one before."
But yeah, that one is very alarming, because
I would love to get Kyle Carrozza's take on this, but at this point, if this is true, I imagine he's too scared to say anything.
Yeah, because he might get blacklisted from the industry and people will call him a liar.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If he does substantiate this, then it does mean that there is a serious problem.
Yeah.
That's really the problem here. There's no substantiation.
Continue to explain this potential problem. Most troubling of all is the partnership of the long-standing Animators Guild with the group known as Women in Animation. Through Women in Animation's though their purported mission is dedicated to advancing women in the field of animation, and that they, quote, envision a world where women share equally in the creation, production, and rewards of animation, and we provide resources and connections to make it happen, the organization seems to have done little for women. One Twitter artist detailed her interactions with WIA president Margaret Dean, who instead of providing resources, answers, or assistance to the woman, effectively dismissed and ignored her, despite the woman already holding membership. During a meeting held by the Animators Guild and Women in Animation to announce their partnership, a team member asked how the guild planned to meet WIA's goal of 50-50 representation of men and women, which, by the way, can we just make a note that parity is not equality? It's not a numbers game. The head of the guild allegedly told those in attendance that they would have to actively fire men to achieve that ratio.
That is not how that should go in terms of an entertainment industry. You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be forcing people out to shove people who don't have merit back in. You should be looking for people who happen to be women and have that merit and give them the same opportunities. That's what equality is. This is something else.
Yeah, this is very clearly taking a preference to one side of the equation and propping that up on a pedestal and just kind of shooing away the others because you don't deem them as important.
Yeah, we have a lot more to say, but after this paragraph. So, Margaret Dean, president of Women in Animation, Dean is currently also working on the widely panned and criticized High Guardian Spice for Crunchyroll. So that's another connection in this spider web of uncomfortability. While poor artist performance, unorganized working conditions, unapologetic nepotism, and active targeting of employees based on gender or skin color is troubling for audiences and consequently their favorite networks and mediums, these allegations are especially troubling for young artists who dream of entering the medium of animation. Promising new artists will see that an entire industry behaves like a free-for-all wasteland, hires based on everything but merit, and actively seeks options to weaponize against them or force complacency. How many of these artists will remain in the industry, and how many will turn away out of disgust, fear, or discouragement?
I'm going to let Ash, kind of inject here because she's been quiet for a while.
Yes. I was just waiting for the article to finish being read.
Okay, yeah, it's done.
So, I don't know. Growing up as a woman, it's one of those hard things because going back especially to that list.
Yeah.
You want to believe people when they're coming forward about sexual assault and stuff because there really isn't much of proof you can go off of some of these situations. And especially when it's show business, people are quiet because they're afraid of being fired.
Yeah.
But taking these things and weaponizing them, it's so problematic for a couple of different reasons. Because one, it's like you're slandering someone based off of false allegations, which hurts not just the person, but people who are actually assaulted in industries. Because then it's like, okay, so why are you coming forward? Because this person came forward, but if that allegation is wrong, then what's to say that your allegation is correct? Which just makes this entire downward spiral of people not believing people. And it hurts the entire thing you're supposedly, quote unquote, trying to help, which is women in these positions.
Yeah, that's really my main issue here, because if that entire list of potential abusers and assaulters within the animation industry is true, and people are being added to that list with reckless abandon, and it's being used as a weapon to slander and demonize people simply for personal reasons and personal gain, then that is not a good look for anybody, because it fucks up the person you're trying to. It not only does it fuck up the person you're targeting, it fucks up your ability to be taken seriously, and it also fucks up the ability for people who are actually coming forward with real allegations to be taken seriously.
Exactly.
It's not a good look for anybody, because it's using an incredibly serious and incredibly dangerous it's taking very serious allegations and making light of them in order for people to get a leg up,
and
I hate that.
It's hard because it seems even though the actual like statistic of people who are sexually assaulted to people who are falsely accused is very, very heavily skewed to the person who's actually assaulted, over the past couple years, we've seen it exponentially increase. And granted, it's not like anywhere near a 50-50 basis,
Yeah.
but it's getting dangerous because, like you said, these people are getting a leg up. And because that person was successful in doing that, that makes like this person want to do it and that person want to do it. And so when these companies are hiring based strictly off of a gender issue, it really pisses me off because there are qualified women out there. But if you're hiring somebody specifically because they are a woman over somebody who is
and they
qualified,
dated Alex Hirsch,
that and over somebody who is qualified for the job, then I don't know what to say to them. Like, what are you doing? Are you actually trying to help your industry, or are you just wanting your industry? Are you just setting it up for failure at that point because you're trying to appeal to the masses past a certain like? You're trying to appeal to the masses because they have this idea of what equality is.
There's two things I want to bring up here. The first is that I'm wondering how the situation with the creator of Clarence ties into this. If maybe this list spawned from the whole ordeal with him getting ousted. Is that what started it? Was he on that list beforehand? You know, like that's an interesting situation because the fact that he was outed so quickly and just given the boot just immediately like that, and like all his name was like scrubbed from the promotion or whatever, tells me that if there even was a systemic problem of abuse in the industry, it's being dealt with pretty thoroughly. So I'm questioning the need for a list like this. And if what happened to Kyle Carosa is true, then this list is not being used for its quote unquote intended purpose. It's being used to purposefully exclude males from the industry so that we can put more of Alex Hirsch's old girlfriends in these high positions.
Yeah, because there's a process that you can go through basically any industry that helps protect women against this, especially with the outrage lately of people basically saying enough is enough. There's been a lot of steps put in place, and it's hard when like the highest person is the reason for that. But if you have enough people coming forward, then you can't really help but to believe people. But when you're making like this witch hunt in a sense, and there doesn't really seem to be a rhyme or a reason, and it's openly, outing people of this industry just to have them replaced by ex-girlfriends, then it's just setting the entire system up for failure.
Yeah, and like, because I feel like we shouldn't even be talking about the potential assault aspect of this because this is clearly not what this is about. This is it's if it was even about that at all in the first place, it has transcended that, and it is now simply about pushing men out of their jobs that because they couldn't have dated Alex Hirsch. Clearly, they had the merit to be there. So
and on top of that,
we're pushing them out for Tumblr artists who don't have experience or credentials in this industry.
And on top of that, like you mentioned, hiring Tumblr artists instead of people who kind of work their way up through the industry. Like a lot of modern animation, you could make the argument that a lot of modern animation in terms of television and film in the Western in the Western world is kind of birthed at CalArts.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on CalArts.
Oh yeah. That's a different can of worms.
Oh
but,
boy.
I would argue that it's kind of the same can of worms. I mean, because like, if the hiring practices are nepotistic and incestuous, and the promoting practices are nepotistic and incestuous, what's to say that stylistically these things are not going to be somewhat incestuous? So it could very well be that this homogenization of style has come from a place of homogenizing a workplace and the people that work there. I mean, that seems like a logical connection to make. I mean, it's probably more complicated than that. but that makes sense to my mind.
CalArts is problematic for a lot of different reasons.
My problem with this article is that my problem with this article is that I don't want to believe half of it. I don't want to.
It makes so much sense though when you look into what's been going on.
That's the problem. Like it's conflicting me because
obviously I'm not going to be like, this is 100% true. Everything here is fucking gospel. These people should be outed immediately. Like, no, but like there's enough dots being connected here that I think some kind of investigation has to take place because like something is wrong here, and it's in some cases it is affecting the quality of the work, and it's ousting people who actually deserve to be there of their jobs, and it's also making things more difficult. Because here's the thing that has wider reaching implications, because if Cartoon Network doesn't want to fire Rebecca Sugar because she's a woman, so they have to keep her show running, so they have to do this Steven Bomb thing and reorganize the schedule so that it gets good enough ratings to justify to investors and whatever. Fucking, I don't even know how they do that. I don't even know, because what investors are going to see through that, but enough about that. But like, if they're affecting the schedule for those reasons, there could be similar reasons that other bullshit happens, like the overinflation of Teen Titans Go. You know, the thing everyone gets so hung up over. Maybe there's other reasons behind that deal with. So it's probably not the same kind of thing, but like the schedule is being messed with for all these different reasons, and that is affecting the perception of certain shows and the success of certain shows, because if they're deliberately not airing Steven Universe against quote-unquote competing shows, they're limiting its exposure to these Steven bombs. And they could do that with other shows as well that are not getting the exposure they deserve because maybe they got to air 1 million episodes of Teen Titans Go for some reason, you know?
It also shows pretty bad favoritism as well, because why is Steven Universe so deserving of the special treatment of these Steven bombs as opposed to other shows that have flopped on Cartoon Network?
Exactly. And like, so like the fact that Cartoon Network is manipulating the schedule at will, not based on merit, but based on these external factors, or well, internal factors that have nothing to do with merit, is very concerning, because it could potentially be fucking over other shows. Like, yeah, Mighty Magiswords might have been canceled because Kyle McCarthy was on this shit list, Makosa, but it also could have been canceled because they didn't air it enough, because they had to air something else in its place because they didn't want to fire a woman or something like that, you know? And other shows could suffer the same fate of having bad airing schedules because they have to accommodate something else, because God forbid they fire a woman for being incompetent at her job.
I can tell that, like, the article mentions that this is something that that the industry cannot sustain, and I agree.
Yeah,
because at that point, you're not hiring for you're not hiring on merits of capability and creativity, and you're not hiring on merits of people being able to actually create a show and do it on schedule. You're hiring simply based on trying to meet a quota that you feel needs to be met.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all for women in the industry. Look, if you want to bring more women into the industry, more creative talents, I am all for more creative talents, more diverse creative talents, people who are going to be able to create things that, you know, people currently in the industry can't create. Like, bring more people in, yes, but don't force people out just to, you know, just to cross a mark off of a checklist, because at that point you are only harming yourselves.
I had something else to say, but I forgot. But something else I wanted to bring up was that I'm going to be interested to see what happens next year with the premiere of Infinity Train, because Infinity Train has a male showrunner. So is it going to get the Mighty Magiswords treatment? Are they going to barely air it and then force them out for some behind-the-scenes reasons? You know,
I hope not.
I hope not either. It looks cool, but like the fact that I have to fear for any cartoon with a male showrunner is really disappointing.
This entire article is like heavily concerning
as both a male and a fan of cartoons. And something else I wanted to point out is that it doesn't make any business sense what they're doing, because I'll tell you the reason why Steven Universe normally does not get good ratings is because it's not being made for children. It's not being made for your target audience that you're trying to engross. It's being made for Tumblrites. It's being made for the community that circle jerks around these Tumblr artists that you hire based on nepotism. And so when you're not even trying to go after the demographic you should be going after, it's no wonder that it's not being successful in that demographic. So there's no surprise there to me that when you aim for the wrong target, you're not going to hit what you want, and you're going to end up with problems because of it. So they keep doing it. But why do they, like, just from a business standpoint in my mind, I cannot imagine that it makes more sense to deliberately spend money producing a cartoon that is not successful by any conventional merit instead of just firing a woman. Like, is that in our modern culture, is that going to be such a backlash to them that making an expensive cartoon for Tumblr and not for your intended audience, losing money, is that really the better option? Is that the society we live in now? Because if there's one thing I usually believe in, it's the greed of businesses. And and if they're so afraid of social backlash over firing a woman that they are willing to lose so much money over it, that's very concerning.
See, the problem now, it's because it's marketed to Tumblr, and Tumblr has such a history of witch hunts.
Yeah.
I do fear if they were to fire, and fire her specifically because she's shitty and not, like, doesn't really have any merit at this point, that it does create a bigger issue. But that's because it stemmed from being a Tumblr fueled show to begin with.
Exactly. That culture is going to follow them wherever they go. Speaking of which, one of the comments in the Reddit thread about this, when talking about Pendleton Ward stepping down, was, he says, not even kind of surprised, a spineless hipster falls ass backwards into success, continues to be a spineless hipster letting everyone do whatever they want just to stay popular, and then steps down because his job is difficult. I do feel bad. I do feel kind of bad for Ward, because it's clear that he probably wasn't ready for the responsibilities he was given, and that's why he stepped down in the first place, because he thought that not only was he not prepared for the kind of job he was given, but he had hired so many people that he just said do whatever, that he no longer had any control of his show. You know?
I really want to make my point here. Like, this is really my big point.
Okay, go on.
I love animation.
Yeah.
I love this entire medium, Western, Eastern animation. I respect the people who create these shows. I respect the people who are in the position to be able to actually create such wonderful stories that can't be done in any other medium. And being able to push the envelope as to what can actually be shown on television in regards to children's television. Like, I'm talking more like serialized storytelling, and you know what, Steven Universe, for all of its problems, you know what, kudos to Rebecca Sugar for actually trying to, make a show that is more inclusive and, more progressive. Like, kudos to her for actually doing that. But this entire thing concerns me, because I know that this entire thing of trying to restructure and reorder things within the animation industry to fulfill what is the word I'm looking for? You're at this point you're more focused on meeting a criteria that has nothing to do with actual creative integrity, as opposed to actually focusing on creative integrity, and an industry cannot thrive on that. At some point, that is going to. At some point, that is going to cave in on itself. And the thing is, this article scares the crap out of me because I don't want to believe that it's real. But unfortunately, like you said, there are so many little things that line up with reality and what we currently know. And there's just so much in this article that actually is corroborated with other things on the internet, such as, you know, Alex Hirsch being romantically involved with Dana Terrace, that I can't ignore this article by just by the fact that there are things in this article that look to be true and actually do have corroborated stories. Like I cannot ignore this, and I am concerned about the industry and how it's going to actually move forward in the next few years. Because if this is true, if most of this is true, then we've got a problem, and nothing's going to be able to get. It's going to collapse. The animation industry is going to collapse, and it's not going to be pretty for anybody. It is going to be a massive clusterfuck. And
the thing is,
and no one's going to escape unscathed.
Yeah, and the thing is, what can you do? Because like, I don't really. There's almost no one here you can point explicit blame at, because everyone's just kind of doing what they do. You know, I don't think Pendleton or Alex Hirsch had bad intentions when they recommended the people that they did. They probably thought they were pretty talented. Absolutely. They were like, hey, here's an ex of mine, here's a friend of mine. You know, she makes good drawings. I think she's got some great ideas. You know, you should give her her own show. And like, that's as far as that probably went. You know,
isolation. In isolation, there is nothing bad with hiring friends that you think are creatively.
Yeah, but when it becomes a systemic thing and you invite this Tumblr culture into it, it creates so many other problems. And at this point, I'm just like, because now it's difficult to solve, because the problem isn't any one person. The problem is the culture, and that is so hard. That is so hard to deal with, because cultures are inherently self-sustaining and very territorial and defensive, because like if you try to inject a different culture, new ideas into it, it just gets rejected, blacklisted, fired, you know. So like how do you deal with this? Like how do you fix a broken world, Kevin?
Ain't that the question?
Yeah. So, you know,
I've seen a lot of people on the internet like kind of. What also concerns me is that I've seen a lot of people on like Twitter and whatever kind of openly dismiss this simply on the merit of like what I just said. There is nothing wrong with, you know, hiring friends because you think they're worth hiring for a show, or you think that they're going to be able to, you know, run the show fine.
You know what this reminds me.
Give props to Alex Hirsch. Dana Terrace is actually doing pretty good with DuckTales so far.
Yeah. So like here's the thing though. Like, you know what this reminds me of, and I feel like someone's gonna yell at me over this, but this feels like a guy who brings his girlfriend to the D&D session, and she doesn't know what she's doing, but she wants to be there because it's, you know, it's his thing. They want to share in it, and everybody else has got to deal with the noob who doesn't know what she's doing, and they've all got to kind of accommodate her and whatnot. And like, I feel like talent-wise, that's kind of what's happening here, except what's happened is we've gotten to this point where women are on such a pedestal that we have to lower the standards of everything around them rather than helping them get up to a level that is appropriate, you know?
Thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what it's like.
Because here's the thing, is that gatekeeping in this sense helps maintain equality and the reason why people like these things in the first place. Like, what equality should be is that anyone of any background or whatever can become successful in a field on merit. What inequality effectively is when someone can't become successful even if they have the merit because of external factors, but when they become overinflatingly successful because of external factors, and you have to push other people down to make them look better, that hurts the product and what everyone believes in. And I think we're seeing some of the backlash towards that. There was a big backlash against modern cartoons. A lot of it I don't agree with. Yeah. Kevin, I'm sure you've seen a lot of this too.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah. But we're starting to see that pushback, like, oh, everything looks the same. Oh, this fucking Adventure Time ass all random humor, which I think is kind of being. It depends on the show a lot, but like, that sort of hipster millennial culture. There's a big backlash against stuff like that. Stuff about the scheduling with Teen Titans Go and whatnot, and even backlash against the Steven Bombs. Again, the Steven Universe fandom doesn't even like the Steven Bomb format. Like that's something that they actively complain about. I mean, to be fair, their show probably wouldn't exist without it. But
I like what Carnival says here. The issue is animators who have worked hard for their college education portfolio too. Like we're going to tell them it's not even worth it to pursue this because their qualification means nothing if they aren't the showrunner's cousin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like that is the fear, because if you get to a point where a young man who's gone through the education and the effort and has the merit and wants to join the industry suddenly can't or can and gets ousted because we got to make room for what's her face, that's not equality. That's not a place you want to be in.
If you want more women,
that's where you were. That's where you were before, but you've just flipped the tables.
If you want more women in your industry, you should give back to education for your industry that supports women.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Make a scholarship. Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that.
Unfortunately, I don't think like this is going to resolve because of this. I think if anything, this will probably get resolved because of other factors such as the death of television. That's probably going to come first.
Yeah, television as it is kind of a dying. Yeah, it's a dying medium.
I forget whose video it was. Maybe it was Sabres. Maybe it was Animation Nation. But they did that whole breakdown about Miller. What's her name? Miller, the president of Cartoon Network right now.
Yeah, Miller.
Christina Miller, I think.
Yeah, Christina Miller.
Yeah. So, like, the reason they're pushing Teen Titans Go and this sort of thing and not paying as much attention to their channel network and Boomerang and whatnot is because they're pushing this online service away from TV. But there's so many things in the TV landscape that are chaining them to the network for advertising and stuff like that. Like, the whole television landscape in general is just not adapting to the times very well because of these old institutions that are just chaining them to the ground. Yeah. And that's causing problems everywhere. This kind of stagnant creation and Tumblr culture probably only got to invade in the first place because these television networks are so desperate to appease to anyone at this point to get them to tune in that they're willing to accept this Tumblr culture and this bullshit as long as they have cartoons that somebody's watching, And it's really sad.
That might actually partially be it. It's like we need something that someone's going to be watching, so we're just going to hire people that we know. It's like you can create a show that a lot of people are going to be watching, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I think this all might be a symptom of not only this fucking modern feminist culture, but also just the transition away from conventional television networks into more experimental online services and things like that, which is what we were talking about earlier with Verve and other services and stuff like that, because Verve hosts a lot of content creators that create things. It's not just a place for stuff that exists like anime and whatnot. It's for Rooster Teeth content. It's for Cartoon Hangover content. It's for other online creators that aren't welcome on television. So this is where they go. So, but these it's a very big interconnected web of bullshit.
For what I've seen, for what I've seen and from what I've heard, we're hearing a lot of this bullshit about people from like Cartoon Network and Disney mostly.
Yeah.
Nick, for whatever reason, evaded.
I mean, Nickelodeon, for better or worse, has stuck to the pretty traditional model of hiring people. It seems like
about the only thing is like Chris Savino being outed as a like Chris Savino being outed and then him getting booted off his show.
Was he booted off? Was he booted off Loud House?
He was. He is not there anymore as of season 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was Was it the Clarence situation again? Did he like actually
Yeah, it
assault
was.
someone?
Yeah, it was the Clarence situation. In
Yeah.
fact, he's apparently been doing this for over a decade at this
Yeah,
point.
I remember people were actually really surprised he got his own show because not only did he not have a stellar track record on the shows he worked on, but there were also a lot of allegations against him in these regards.
Yeah, his episodes of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, not the best.
I've heard that he's responsible for the worst parts of Powerpuff Girls.
I have no fucking idea. I'd have to actually look at his track record on that.
Yeah, I know he did most of the later seasons. So,
but apparently his bullshit caught up to him, and he's fired now.
So Locke is asking, there was a scandal with Clarence. Yeah, the showrunner sexually assaulted his coworkers.
Yeah, and something similar happened with Chris Savino, except with the Clarence showrunner, it happened over the course of about a year or two. Yeah. With Chris Savino, it's been happening since the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the other issue, because when shit like that happens, you start giving these people the fuel to make their hit lists, and then that fuels other like all this bullshit fuels into each other. And that's what makes it so hard to break. You know,
circle the bullshit.
Because you can't tell them that. It's hard to tell people, oh, there's no sexual predators out there, when then this shit happens, and then that justifies it in their mind on these bases. And I don't understand why I don't understand why it's so hard for people to not judge people for things they haven't done yet. Like, that sounds like it would make a lot of sense and be something people would generally agree to do, but it seems really hard for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, the idea that you judge people after they do things is, I guess, really unpopular right now.
Man, I'm in such a downer mood now.
Yeah, although the lo-fi is helping.
Listen to those study beats.
Yep. It's to study, relax, and contemplate the... Because especially since animation is so...
Abusers and assaulters need to be taken care of, but at the same time, we don't want people accusing people of abuse and assault, and then, you know, there being no proper investigations, and there being just this big circle jerk of pointing fingers at each other. It's like, I heard from her that you did this, and
yeah, I'm hoping.
I don't want that.
Because, like I said, I'm always 100% for, well, mostly 100% believing the victim. But
I in general cases, I like to, you know, err more on the side of the victim. But
there are times when
I don't care. I don't care who's who. Just show me the proof.
See, and that's a hard thing. Is in a lot of these cases there aren't proof because people are quieted or they don't realize.
I mean, that sucks. But like, what's the alternative? Is literally just condemning people without evidence, and
exactly. So
that's far more unacceptable to me.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope because one way is shitty, another way is shitty, and everything's shitty. And
yes, but I would argue one way is objectively more shitty. So I mean, like, it's an obvious, for me, it's obvious to just take all claims seriously, but also require some kind of verification. You know,
what is it we were talking about the other day? We mentioned that fighting things for the sake of fighting things, just I'm trying to remember. Something put so elegantly by Chris.
Yeah. But while you think of that, I have another point to make, which is that because I fear for the animation industry, because animation is so hard to do without a system in place. Because independent animation is hard.
Yeah.
And there's very little places for it online. It requires a lot of, you know, capital and whatnot. And like I fear for it if this industry collapses. Because like we're dealing with shit on the West, and Eastern animation is dealing with a whole slew of other problems with working conditions and wages and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, there's trouble on both fronts, and
animation industry in general is having issues. Oh,
yeah, and that's.
I found it. Misplaced altruism simply ends up aiding evil.
Yes. There we go. Sounds like it's in the Bible somewhere.
the hidden book we weren't aware of.
So I think that's about it on this topic for now.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on the show, Ash.
This was fun. Sorry if I was quiet during part of it. I literally have nothing to say when it comes to JoJo. So when you guys go off on tangents about it, I'm just like, huh?
Yeah. No, I understand. We've had worse. Thanks for being a part of the show. Kevin, why don't you pimp yourself for a sec?
Well, as per the usual, you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr at CCharmanderK. You can also find me on Instagram at CCharmanderK, and you can also find me on our Discord server, which is currently linked down below, as Zeke has said three times at this point.
It's not in the second half. It's in the first half.
Go back to the first half then and find it there, bitch. And of course, I am again CCharmanderK. I am there everywhere. And Ash, where can people find you?
Oh man, I'm actually undergoing a username change because I've used the same one since I was like 12, but a typo that I made like a month ago makes for a much better username. So
okay, you say you've been using the same username since you were 12, but that's never stopped me.
No, I don't dislike my username. I just like the new one a lot better. So most of my things are under Chakulin, which is CHAKYLIN. However, as of lately, I have been marketing my stuff as Ash9 because it just sounds edgy and cool, and I love it. But if it exists, I probably have an account. Do I use it? Maybe not. Looks at Twitter. But if it exists, I have an account.
Yeah. As for me, I am Zeke Freak on basically everything. You can find me on Twitter, PlayStation Network, Steam, Discord. Join our Discord server in the link below in the first part because I'm going to be too lazy to put it in the second part. Always enjoy having new faces in the Discord. And if you're a Danganronpa fan, you can find me on the Danganronpa Amino with my various works, some of which are also on AO3, some of which are not. One of them has a website, but I haven't finished building it yet, so I'm not going to really pimp that too hard.
It's coming along well.
It's a cool shit website.
This has been... Thank you, guys. Could you stop complimenting me for 1 second so I can close out the episode? Please compliment me later. This has been the Baka Gaijin Show, episode 40. We'll be back soon with another topic. Until then... This is Zeke Freak out. Ciao, ciao for now.